Hello, this is Tim Cobb appearing for String Virtuoso, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Soli from Verdi's Otello, which I had the good fortune to play quite a few times in my time at the Metropolitan Opera with some very great conductors. And I'll try to share my experiences and hopefully some insights. Verdi did write it concertino, so you want to get yourself the best mute you can find to try to get a really beautiful muted quality. I mean, there are so many different mutes out there. I had a really nice leather one, which I've misplaced, but that sounded great. This is a nice one made by Dennis Roy in the Boston Symphony, and they work very well, very popular here in America. So that's something you want to look into, because I find with this mute, my bass still feels like it's resonant and ringing, which is really nice. So definitely put in some effort to find a good one. Now, the first question that comes up is, will there be an accent at the beginning or not? It's not 100% clear in the score. It looks a little bit big, actually, the wedge. So it may have been that he wanted us to kind of decay like that. Some conductors like it, some don't. I really don't know what to tell you. I guess if I have to say something, I'm going to say go with an accent at the beginning. I think it's a little bit more common. But again, I've done it many different ways. I guess it does sound a little more scary, and it is definitely a frightening time in the opera. So what we're going for is this. I'm not going to take you through the whole story. I'm going to leave that for you to. You should read the Shakespeare, and you should certainly get familiar with Verdi's operatic version, which is stupendous, just beyond belief. But this is a very very dark, to say the least, very dark point in the opera, and it's about to get a lot darker after the solo, by the way, not during it, Soli. So we're going for this ominous, threatening, spooky, like, what does this mean, In the second entrance, I wouldn't make an accent. And we have these string crossings to deal with, both from intonation and also getting the notes to speak, and legato. You have to get kind of good at barring and kind of dragging your finger across. You can bow it two different ways, both phrases. Could be this way, or as I did. Same with this phrase. Break it that way, or now the next phrase, Verdi writes un po' marcato, a little more clear, a little more direct. So I'm going to step up the dynamic a tiny bit also. And that's written pianissimo morendo, so as quiet as you can play, whispering and dying away. So that's what I tried to do literally. And don't forget, if you're playing this in an audition, you're the only sound in the room. And I would recommend that you really try to do that, because in the opera, in the setting with playing in the section, you'll be able to play really quietly, because that is the effect that Verdi intended. Question frequently is how to handle these, the three E flats, it's tied with dots. Yeah. I guess the answer is just to practice. You just have to practice that, getting the right amount of sort of somewhere between portato and almost a staccato sound. We're going to do that for these next two entrances. And I really would play that softly, in an audition, that is. Not so soft that they can't hear you, but a nice, really sad, beautiful quality. And you notice I'm using enough bow that I think I can project that sound. I'm imagining right now I'm playing an audition and, I have to, the committee's out there in a hall somewhere and I have to project some sound out there, but I still want that beautiful quality. So I'm going to use a fair amount of bow speed. Next one. Again, that kind of travel, a lot of travel in the bow is what I feel. Let's get those appoggiaturas right. And again, always stressing the first note and falling away. That one can really just die out as well. Then the last one you can do as comms, and that's already going for a forte. Now the biggest question in this piece, is there an accelerando at all? If so, how much accelerando? When do I stop? What tempo do I arrive at? Or what's the finishing tempo of this said accelerando? I have to tell you, in my experience playing it with a number of very great conductors, we never did a whole lot. And I still hear, all over the world, I hear people playing it alone and making a tremendous accelerando at the end. And I'm sure it can be done that way, and maybe some conductors do. I just didn't experience that much. I would say something like bum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. That's about it. So ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-bum. I don't really remember ever playing it faster than that. So that's the best advice I can give you. So this bowing also completely arbitrary. There's a number of ways to do that. You can experiment and listen to different versions and discuss with your teacher and see what works best for you. I like that sound. And I'm just going to show that subito forte, but I'm going to sneak it a little early. So it's almost like that. When we get here, we really want to switch to a real martelet, let's say. Just kind of brutal sounding. Then when you get here, you maybe get a little fatter for all the accents that Verdi wrote. That's about as fast as I ever played it. Almost lost my mute there. I mean, I just don't remember ever going faster than that. So that's my recommendation, that you end around that sort of a tempo. I can't resist telling you that I had the good fortune and joy to perform this opera with the great Carlos Kleiber. 5 or 6 performances, I think, at the Met. That was unforgettable. He had the basses lined up right in front of him, about as far away as his camera, which is not far, about 10, 12 feet. So besides being able to follow every movement, of course, and every little change of his facial expressions, which were incredible. And I could hear every word that he ever whispered during rehearsals and sometimes even performance. But I want to tell you that he did something very interesting. He had the outside player on the last phrase play just normally, and he had the inside player do this. So we had da 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 boom and ba ba ba, and that player would change bow, by the way, to get back on track. It was fascinating and it sounded fantastic. So he got a built-in portamento up to that high note, And he also got the security of the clean shift. So just wanted to share that for the ages. It was really, really wonderful. So I hope that's helpful. And again, there's more than one way to interpret all this great music, and I do not say for a minute my way is the only way or the best way, but it does come from having played the opera a number of times, quite a few. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching.